the Folio 60 from 1947 to 2006. This is a Folio Society edition of this book. It's the only kind of, the only edition of the book that exists. It comes with a slipcover that's this sort of, I don't know, forest green, let's say, on one side, and then this drawing on the other. 60 years of fine books. And what it is, it's not for everyone. It's really just a bibliography of all the Folio Society books that were published from 1947 to 2006. Look, I talk about Folio Society a fair amount here because I have a few Folio Society books. It's a publisher, and this publisher publishes really nice editions of books, but at a price that they're expensive, but they're not thousands of dollars. Sometimes you can get books from, handmade letterpress editions of books from publishers that are very, very expensive, way out of the reach of me. And although Folio Society does do some books like that, most of their books are they're really nice. They have, they'll commission artists to do drawings and things, and they're sewn bound and they're acid-free paper. And they're really nice, but they're more like $80 or $100 for most of them, or $60 rather than hundreds and hundreds of dollars or thousands. Okay, so what is this book? Well, this one is a collection. It just tells you about all the ones that they've published in the last, not the last 60 years, but at the time that this was published, for the 60 years or so before that. And the reason that I thought of this book is because I did a video on the pillow book of Sei Shonagon. And in the front of that book, it only had, as far as a description of what the binding was, I was saying, well, what is this binding? And it didn't actually say. It just said the date, 1989, or this was published in, 1979. And I believe it said the font, but it didn't say what it was actually published in. What it was actually bound in. And so I broke out this book, which goes by year, has lots of cool illustrations from the books that they're talking about. But to give you an example, I'll go to 1979. 83, 82, 1980, and here we have 1979. And somewhere in here, we're going to see the pillow book of Sei Shonagon, if I can find it. Oh, there's an image of it right there, so I know we're in the right place because this picture is in that book. And here it is. Okay. So here, as opposed to what's in the book, this actually gives you quite a lot of information. All right, well, it tells you the size, which is actually interesting to me right now because I'm trying to figure out sizes of books for a bookcase. So that's good. Anyway, it tells you how many images there are in it, what it's printed at, and for my purposes, over here it says black artificial moire silk with Japanese characters in gold with lilac and leaves. Okay, that's what I wanted to see. The artificial moire silk is what it's bound in, and it didn't say that actually in the book. Okay, so you get this kind of idea of books throughout. Now, sometimes it goes into sort of why they made the choices they did. Look, here's pages from, there's all this information. The illustrations consist of a frontispiece. The society had experimented with having books photocomposed and printed lithographically, blah, 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 and it goes on. So sometimes you get some insight into why they published the book the way that they did. I can't imagine this book being of any interest to anyone who does not either have a lot of Folio Society books or want to buy Folio Society books. Sometimes you'll see some used Folio Society book on eBay or A-Books or something like that, and the information that you get there is less than you want. And if you have this thing, you can pull it out and have a look. Now, this only goes to 2006. There isn't a more recent one. There are earlier ones. I think there was a Folio 50 and a Folio going back to 20 or 21 or something. But there haven't been any more recent ones as of this date. And they've published, I mean, probably close to 1,000 books since this has come out. So any more recent books aren't going to be in here. As far as an object, the paper is really nice. It's got this sort of texture to it that I like. I don't know if the texture of it is coming out in the image. But you can sort of feel it. It's relatively thick, and it's pretty thick paper, and it's got this nice feel to it. And there are, as I say, just tons and tons of illustrations that are coming from the books that it's talking about. So for me, this has been helpful in sort of looking around for Folio Society books, because sometimes I have paid full price to the Folio Society, but sometimes I haven't. I've gotten them used in other places, and this has been useful to me. All right, so that's the Folio 60 years of fine books from the Folio Society.